In this video, we're going to learn how to read a graph and do Intarsia with Tunisian Simple Stitch. So you're going to need your crochet hook, 2 colors of yarn, and with this we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yarn bobbins. I'll wind your main color on the large bobbin, or you can work it right off of the skein. And then I'm going to do another one of the main color on the medium bobbin and a small bobbin for this little section right here of the main color. Okay, and then this color here, we're going to need 2 bobbins, one for here and here, and we'll just use one for this part, but when we split it up we're going to need 2. So the secondary color, or the design color, will have 2 bobbins, and you wind a few yards of yarn on each bobbin. And you're also going to want to print this chart out, and you will find it on my website at bethinTexas.webs.com, and it's called the Simple Heart Chart. I'll put a link in the description below the video to the chart. So yeah, just print that off, and then I like to use a post-it with arrows to keep track. So we're going to start out by counting how many blocks across we have. 10, 11 blocks across. So we are going to chain 11. And then I will pick up the video, and we'll want to use that, your background color, for chaining 11. So what I want you to do is go ahead and wind those bobbins with a few yards for each part of the chart. I've decided to use the white for the color of the heart and the maroon for the color of the background. I know the maroon's dark and it's harder to see, but I need contrast so that you can actually see the design for me. And so instead of winding 5 bobbins, I'm just going to use the ball and then 2 bobbins for the main color, and the ball and 1 bobbin for the heart. Okay, so we're going to start using off the main ball of yarn. I'll pull this over, give you some contrast, and we're going to watch this too. We're going to chain 11 stitches. And I use my slip knot as the first chain, so that's how I do this. I go behind the yarn and I do a 180-degree turn. Then I grab that twist and then I draw that through. And that way you don't really have a slip knot, it's just a real loose chain, or the slip knot is a loose chain. And you count that as 1, 2, 3, 10, 11. What you want to do is grab a hold of that back bump of that first stitch and poke your hook underneath that and draw up. And you go behind that back bump, draw up a loop all the way across the row. When you're finished, you should have 12 loops on your hook. And if you look at the chart, we're going to do 2 rows of the Tunisian Simple Stitch. And then I'm going to go ahead and do those 2 rows, and then I'll come back and we'll start on row 3, where we're going to start changing colors. Right, I've got my 2 rows of Tunisian Simple Stitch done. Now we're going to work on this 3rd row. I keep track. I just move my post-it note up here. We're working this direction, and because Tunisian stitch, you always have the right side facing, you don't need to turn your arrows over. But we're going to work right to left, and we're going to do 5 simple stitches in the background color and 1 in the heart color, and then 5 in the background color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to change the color. I want to go to the background color, so I'll pull my last piece over my finger in the back to give it a little tension. Then I'm going to get my heart color. You want to leave a couple inches for a tail so you can draw it in later. Insert your hook in the next stitch. Grab a hold of the new color, draw it through, and you just hold that behind your work. Okay, and now we're going to change again, so we're going to hold that all behind there, and now we got to get our first bobbin, the medium one, and unwind a few feet of yarn. Insert your hook under the next bar, draw up a loop, hold the tail in back with the others, and then finish your row. And don't forget to go behind the bar, behind the vertical bar. Do that last stitch. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be 6 loops on the right side and 5 on the left. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay, I'm going to take off a few more yards off the bobbin and then lock it in place that way. Now I'm going to do my second pass for this row. Draw through 1, through 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to change the color. We're going to take the whole bobbin and cross it over to the right and hold it, and then bring the white up underneath and draw through 2. Okay, then we're going to cross this over to the right. Now this piece back here and the main ball over here. Okay, but you want to have your old color cross over to the right, bring the new color up underneath it. You want to cross them over so you don't have holes, and then you work off the rest of your stitches like so. So that's the point of our heart. Then we're going to move our post-it up, but because we're working Tunisian, we don't want to turn it over. We still want to work the same direction. All right. Now we're going to do 4 in the background color and 3 in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because we're passing to the left, bring your yarn over the top to the left before doing your next one. Okay, and pick up your white behind it. Is where. Okay. Now see, I'm working the one I just finished over the top of the new color. Go under the vertical bar and draw up the loop of the new color. Now I want to get that one out of the way, so I'm going to move it back off to the right and under my yarn. Okay, now that was 1 in the white, 2, 3. Okay, so keep my yarn across the top, go back here and get my second ball My second ball is on this. And then bring that up. Pick up my next stitch. Now, move the white out of the way. And off to the right. All right. Then finish the row like normal. So 5 red loops on the right, 3 white in the middle, and 4 on the left. All right, I wound a little bit more. And then work off your colored loops. Okay, now I'm ready to change color, so I want to cross this over like this. And it doesn't hurt to wind this up a little bit, hold it in place. Then pick up the white with the red crossed over, and you finish your 3 stitches. Okay, and now we want to cross the white over other one. Pick that up. And then finish the row. Now I'm going to put the red back where I got it. Look at my chart. Look at my work. I have the 1 and then 3. The next row is the same as the one we just did, with 4, 3, and 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 loops because that first one you don't count as one of the stitches. Okay, then bring this across the top. And I like to bring the whole ball over to keep things from getting tangled. Then pick up the white from behind. Do that first stitch. Okay. Now, pass this back ball across, but bring it underneath that white. Like so. And it'll be out of the way. And do your 3 stitches. This feels like it's awfully close, but that's as far back as I can go. Okay, again, bring this across so that the new color crosses under it. Draw up a loop, then bring this back underneath. Okay, I'm going to take off a few more yards from here, or a few more feet. And finish the row as normal. Now we're going to work these off. Through 1, then through 2, through 2, through 2. Now again, we cross over the new color with the old one. And then pick up the white, so you can see the red tail goes over and the white goes under. And then you draw that one through. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to cross over this one. And pick it up. I like having the color I'm using off to my left. Just seems to work better for me that way. And then you work them off like so. And you can see the point of the heart like it is in the chart. Okay, now we're going to move up a row. Now we have 3, 5, 3. So 1, 2, 3, which is 4 loops on the hook, because this edge isn't really a stitch, it's the edge of the work. Okay, cross this over the front, bring the white up in the back, and then you go under the loop and make the stitch, and then bring the red underneath that white and push it back to the right side of your right. Or if you're left-handed and watching this in the mirror, then you want to go the other way. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need to make one more white stitch. So I like to do, so pull the new color up like this, and I'm going to go, because we're increasing and we don't want that tail to be dragging across everywhere, I go under the vertical bar and under the new color, draw up a loop. Okay, and since that's already been brought over, you don't need to do any more crossing over on this one. And I really only do that to keep the yarn you're carrying neat. Okay, I go under the next and do those last 3 stitches. Okay, pick up some more yarn and finish the row. 1 through 2 through 2. You got to draw the white through so that the top of the loop will be white. Let's see how that looks. Yes. See, we still have 3 red, but we have to bring it through the red and the white with the white. And I always forget from one time to the next when I do that. So you kind of have to experiment with it. If you bring it through, oh, that don't look right, well then just go back and fix it. Now see, I have a white one on the top and a red one on the bottom, so now I need to change and go this way. Now let's look at it to make sure it's right. So when you count the stitches, you count these chains between the vertical bars, not necessarily the vertical bars. So in the chart, it's 3, 5, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. See how that works? And then we're going to move the chart, the sticky note up to keep track on the chart. Now this chart's real simple. You probably don't really need to use it, but it doesn't hurt to get used to using that sticky note. Okay. So now it's 2, 7, 2 for one row. So pull up 2 and keep this over here. Pull up the white from behind it under the loop. Okay, now I want to move this red back to the right. Get this out of the way. Now that was 1. I'm going to split my yarn here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're changing over, so we want to go under the new yarn to 7. Keep it over here now. Got the new color. And then the last 2 stitches. Now we're going to work them off. It's 1. And when we work them off, it's going to seem like you're just making 1. Okay, even though it's 2 stitches, because this loop's going to be the 2nd stitch. So bring the white through, and that's 2. See? This is 1, and that's 2. So you work these off. Okay, now we've got 2 different colors here on the next to each other. That's when you want to switch this under. Two. Okay. And sometimes we'll tug just to tighten the stitch up just a little bit. Okay. So that was that row. Now I'm going to move the post-it up, and here we're going to incorporate 3 more, wait a minute. Well, we'll incorporate the other bobbins, let's put it that way. So we're going to do 2 and then 3 of the white, 1 of the red, 3 of the white, 2 of the red. Okay, so 1, 2, pick up the white. On a larger project, you're going to probably want to wind them all onto bobbins and not pull them off of balls like I'm doing. It's just easier that way. So remember, we're only going to do 3 white now. Okay, let me get this red back over on this side where it belongs. Every once in a while, you got to go through and untangle everything. Okay, now we're going to get our other bobbin, the small one, the red. Take off a few feet of that. Okay. Insert your hook under the vertical bar. Just catch up and pull up a loop. Pull that tail behind you. Okay. And now we're going to join a new piece of white as well. So just move the all of the red behind there. You need a piece of white. Get some of that. Under the hook, pull up a loop, put the tail on the back. And there we've got 3. Now we're going to change back to this last red, the same way we've always been doing. Cross the white over the top, pull it behind there. Do the last 2 stitches. Now we're going to work them off. Draw under 1, draw under 2, and 2 different colors, so it's time to change to the white. You want to grab the right piece here. Tails underneath. You want to keep the tail on the back and the working yarn. Pull it through. Okay. Oh, almost pulled it through. We don't do that. Look, we have a white and a red, so we want to change to the next red piece. So cross that over. Pick up the new red. Do that one. This is just 1 stitch, and it doesn't hurt to tug on these in the back here a little bit to tighten them up. Go the back, and then get this white. Okay, now it's time to change back to the red. I find it easier to work on a tabletop doing this in Tunisian Intarsia to keep track of all the balls of yarn. Okay, we have 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, then 1, 1, 2, 3, and then 2. You can see the heart starting to form here. The back of your work should look fairly neat. You'll see the crossed over colors right here. When you draw in your tails, make sure you draw the tails into the color that the tail is. Alright, so we are going to continue this. I'm going to move the post-it to here. So it's 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. In this picture, this looks like red yarn. It's really a maroon. So pull up 2. Then we're going to pull a new color up behind it. So let's wrap it under, like so. And then it was 2. The new color. Old one, wrap it under. The new one over. It's 3. Say 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm hitting my pattern piece page. It's what you hear in the background. Okay, now I'm going to get my white bobbin. Go wrap it under like that. The new one over. 2. Now if you look at my Ravelry project pages, I shared some Tunisian ABC Afghan that I made for my son a few years ago, and I did Intarsia for all the letters. There was, I think, 15 balls of yarn hanging off my piece at one time for that. Okay, now this point here, this is our last row of the heart color. So as we finish each, we can cut the ends, or you can just do that after it's done, just to be sure. All right, so let's go. Return pass here. Okay, now I'm ready to change, so I am going to leave a few inches and cut it. Only cut your yarn after you make the stitch on the return pass. Now cross that over. Now we're going to do the new one. 1, 2. Now unravel a little bit. Cut your yarn. Make sure this crosses over the front. One, 2. Oh, my dog's barking. Sorry about that. 3. Now I'm going to cut my yarn again. Okay, I just cut my little piece of red. I'm going to cross that over and get my white. I'm going to find it. Chase the tail. Sometimes you just find it from the end of the ball. Okay, now I'm at the end of the white, so I'm going to leave a few inches. You want to leave at least 3 inches, if not more, for drawing in your tail. And then I'm going to cross that over and pick up the red and finish the row. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 2 rows of the Tunisian Simple Stitch all the way across, and I will return and we will take a look at the finished result. Okay, here is the result following the heart chart. If you see, it's a little oblong, but this can be blocked more square if you want it to. Another thing, see how stepped it is here? You can embroider an outline when you're finished your piece. I didn't end mine off. You could finish it off with a slip stitch cast off or a single crochet cast off, or whichever one you prefer. Or if you want to make this a scarf, you continue making this the length you want, and when you get to the other end, turn your graph upside down and then follow it that way, and you'll have a heart on each end of a scarf. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this little heart pattern. You can sew a patch pocket on something, put it on a purse or on a bag. So I hope this lesson and the Tunisian Simple Stitch Intarsia helps. And ask in the comments if you have any more questions. The tighter your stitches, the less you will see these little jagged lines. So if you're going to make something soft like a blanket or a garment, you might want to keep it loose. But if you're going to do something tapestry, The blanket that I made is actually very heavy and kind of tight. So I followed the pattern that was in a book on that one. So that's our lesson on the Tunisian stitch Intarsia. And you can use this for all kinds of charts. Happy crocheting!